Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So this lesson is all going to be about percentages. We're going to look at 5 different types of percentage calculations, with number 4 being the one that everyone gets confused, and that's why I've put the 4 stars over there. So let's get started. So the first part's really easy. It's calculating the percentage of one value. So they say, what is 30% of 60? So all that you do is you just look at this part over here, and all you need to remember is that of means multiply. So you're just going to say 30% multiply by 60. So you can just type that on your calculator actually. Your calculator will have a percentage button that you just need to find. So you'll type in 30, then you'll need to find a way to get the percentage sign. Different learners use different types of calculators, so you must have the percentage sign, and then you're going to say multiplied by 60, and if you do that correctly you would end up with 18. Here's another one. So what is 25% of 50? So whenever there's that of like that, of just means multiply, so you'll just say 25, then you must say percentage on your calculator multiplied by 50, and if you do this one correctly you should get 12,5. Now some teachers will do this part differently. Maybe they will ask you they will change the 25% to 25 over 100, or maybe they would use a decimal. So let's just quickly show you the different types here. You could write it as 25%, or you can write it as 25 over 100, then you don't put the percent, or 0.25. All of these are actually exactly the same thing. So you could have used that over there, you could have used, this one over there, or you could have used that one over there, and they would all give the same answer. I included this example just to show you and to make you feel okay with the fact that percentages can be more than 100. So here you'll just say 150 percentage multiplied by 70. Okay, I know that this is pretty straightforward, but as this lesson goes on, we are going to be getting to some more interesting kinds of things. And so if we calculate this, it'll be 105. Okay, so we've done with the first part. Remember, we are looking at 5 parts in this lesson, so the first part is now done. So the next part is going to be, how do you calculate a percentage when they give you 2 values? Now, most of you are actually going to be pretty good at this if you've ever worked out your percentage for a test. Okay, so if a person gets 40 out of 60 for a test, how do you work out the percentage? Well, you always put the mark that they achieved out of the total, and then you multiply that by 100, and that'll give you, so let's round to 2 decimal places, that'll be 66.67%. Okay, so that is how you calculate your test results. So whenever they give you 2 values like this, where the one is out of the other, then you just use this calculation. Okay, so here a person gets 20 out of 25 for a test. Determine the percentage. So you could say 20 over 25 multiplied by 100, and if we do this correctly we must get 80%. It rained on 245 out of 365 days last year. What percentage of the days had rain? Well, this is the same as writing a test. The test was out of 365, and out of the 365 it rained 245 days, and so if we calculate this to 2 decimal places, 67.12%. So we've now finished part 1 and part 2. Now things are going to start getting a little bit more interesting and a bit more challenging, okay? Especially with number 4. That's the one that learners struggle with. But yeah, there's some interesting things we're going to look at now. So I want to quickly talk to you about what a percentage, or let's say, for example, we have a, let me think of an item. Let's say we have a t-shirt, okay? Can Kevin draw a t-shirt? Ooh, this is actually not looking too bad. I've never drawn a t-shirt before. Not bad, eh? Okay, now what's going on here? It's terrible. Okay, something like that. So this is a t-shirt, okay? Now, let's say that this t-shirt is currently selling for 120 Rand. So that is called the original price. There's no specials, there's no increases in price. That is the original price. So that would be 100%. The price of that t-shirt is 100%. So if we had to show it as a circle, that would be 100%. The circle would be complete. If now we decide to, now here's where you got to be very careful. If we give a 30% discount, then that means we are going to take 30% of the shirt away. So 30% of the price, maybe that's 30%, because remember the whole circle is 100%. This side would be 50%. This side would be 50%. So if you take away 30%, maybe it would look something. So you take this part away. So you take away 30%. So how much would you have remaining? Well, there would be 70% remaining. Now, this remaining part is a very important part that we're going to look at in this lesson, because some learners, they see the 30% and then they just go use that in their calculations. But it's the part that's remaining that we want to use in our calculations. And this confuses learners all the time. But don't worry, I'm going to do a lot of examples with you because I've identified this problem. So I'm going to try my best to try and make it easier for you to understand. So it's the remaining part that we're going to use in our calculations, okay? Not the part that is being taken away or added. Okay, now let's do another example. Let's say this time we have a pair of pants. Okay, so let's see if I can draw some pants. Okay, not bad. So let's say this pair of pants is just normally selling for 180 Rand. There's no specials, nothing like that. And let's say that this is without VAT. Okay, which at time of recording we use VAT as 15%. So this is without the VAT. So let's just say that that's 100%. So that's 100% and it's 180 Rand. Okay. If you add VAT, so now if we add VAT, because remember when you go to the shop and you go pay for it, you're going to be paying the VAT as well. So they're going to add VAT onto this. So if they add VAT, that means that this percentage, we're going to add on a little. You can even imagine we add a little piece more to the price. We're adding on another 15%. So the amount that is remaining now, or the amount that we have in total now, is now 115%. And this is the number that we would use in our calculations. Okay? Just like when I showed you the example with the t-shirt, it was the price after we've added and taken away. That's the price that we use. So you'd use the 115%. Okay, so let's go do some calculations now. Let me first show you a formula. So the formula that we are going to use for section 3, 4, and 5. A lot of teachers, they give you different formulas for each section, but I've discovered a formula from teaching my learners that you can use it for all of the parts. Okay, so obviously I've already showed you part 1 and part 2, which was really easy. You don't need special formulas for that. But for part 3, 4, and 5, we can actually use one formula, okay? And that makes it nice. Otherwise, you have to remember all these weird formulas. I've seen some really weird ones, guys. So the formula that I would say is you need to know the original price, okay? The original price is the price before any discounts or price increases, okay? And then we need to look at the new amount. I'm going to show you the formula now. The new amount is the price after increases or discounts, okay? And then we also need to know the remaining percentage. The remaining percentage after the increase or decrease has been done. This is the most important part, that you understand this, but I'm going to make a lot of examples to help you make sure that you get this number, because sometimes they're going to give you a 30%, but then you don't use 30, you have to use 70, and learners get that so confused. And I don't blame you, it is confusing, but I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Okay, so the formula that you would use is original multiplied by remaining percent. Okay, it's actually called remaining percent, and it's the percentage after. Okay, so remaining percent equals to the new price. This is the magic formula that I'm going to help you to become very comfortable with, and you can use that formula for, as I said, part 3, part 4, and part 5. No needing to remember any weird formulas. Okay, just this one formula. Now, let's quickly practice to make sure that you understand this part. So here I've got 4 questions for you, and all I want you to learn about, or to memorize, or not memorize, is to try see if you can do the remaining percentage. Okay, we're not doing any calculations in this one. So it tells you that a shirt goes on a 30% discount. So imagine the shirt was originally, obviously a shirt is originally at its normal price, which is 100%. That just means everything, okay? Now, if it goes on a 30% discount, that means we're going to take 30% away. So we're going to cut out 30%. So let's just quickly cut out 30%. So we're going to take that away. So what is left over? Well, the leftover amount is 70%, and that is called the remaining. Remaining means left over, okay? So 70% is the number you would use in that formula that I showed you, and you would not use 30%. Okay, there are ways that you can do the question using 30%, but I'm trying to simplify your life by allowing you one formula for all of the sections. Okay, then you don't have to remember too much. For this one, they say that VAT is added to an item. Okay, so if you have an item, that's always 100%. The original is always just going to be, it's just going to be 100%. And then if you add 15%, well, then you're adding onto the circle. So the remaining now is whatever's left over, so that's 115%. Okay, so that's what you would use in your calculation. Now it says that a doctor increases their prices by 10%. Oh, and the remaining percentage must always be applied to the original item, but I'll make that more clear just now. So a doctor increases their prices by 10%. So the original prices will always be 100%. And then what the doctor does is they increase their price by 10%. Okay, so they make the circle a little bit bigger. And so that means 110%. I'm just adding that part on, okay? So that's the number that you would use in your calculation. And then it says, a sale is currently on. All items are marked down by 40%. So you can imagine that the normal items had a price or a percentage of 100. Then they decided to mark the items down by 40%. So they're taking 40% away. So they're cutting out 40%. So what's left? 60%. That is the number that you would use in your calculations. So it's quite interesting that, it's quite interesting what numbers we need to use. So if you see 40, it doesn't necessarily, and as I said, there are ways that you can use the 40, especially in section number 3. Remember, I'm showing you, especially in section number 3, you could use the 40 if you know how to use it. But as I said, I'm trying to simplify your life and just give you one formula to use. And so for that, you have to use the 60, okay? Because otherwise, you're going to try use the 40. And then when section 4 comes along, you might not realize that it's a section 4 kind of question, and you're going to get the question wrong. And I've seen that happen so many times. Okay, so this is a section 3 kind of question. So there are multiple ways that you could do this, but I'm going to try to show you how to just use that formula. So you can just use that one formula the whole time. So it's going to be the original multiplied by the remaining percent equals to the new price. Okay, so, and you need to remember how to arrange formulas around. You remember, like, if you have A times, or if you have like B times L equals to A, you need to remember how to, if you need to get L by itself, then it would be, you'd divide by B. And if you wanted to get B by itself, well, then you would eventually end up with A divided by L. I've showed you that in formulas in previous sections. Okay, so a shirt is currently selling for 120 Rand. Determine the new price. Okay, so we don't know the new price, but we do know the original price is 120 Rand. Now, what is the remaining percentage? Well, if the original shirt is always going to be at 100%, then they say a 20% discount. So that means they're going to make the shirt less. So we're going to take away 20%. So what are we left with? 80%. So you could just use 80%, and that must be equal to the new price. So you could just go type that on your calculator now. Make sure you use the percentage sign. And so this shirt is going to be 96 Rand. Okay, I know there's ways where you could have said 20%, you could say 20% of 120, and then you would minus those values. You'd minus the answer from 120. That does work when we are using section 3. But then so what happens is that learners get into this bad habit of always using the number that they give you. But then when you go into section number 4 type of questions, where they give you the new value, but they don't give you the original value. And then learners try to use that same technique, and it doesn't work. But if you use this formula, it works every single time, this formula over here. Okay, so let's quickly write down our formula. Original multiplied by percentage remaining after the increase or decrease is equal to the new price. Okay, so this is a section 3 kind of question. So yeah, tickets to a tennis match are now selling for 450 Rand. Okay, so that's the original price. Suddenly, an announcement is made that ticket prices will increase by 20%. Determine the new price. Okay, so you could definitely go work out 20% of that number, and then you could just add it to that number. But that is causing you to develop bad habits where you always think you need to use this number, and then when we go on to section number 4, you're going to get confused. I keep repeating that, but it's because I've seen this a lot. Okay, so what I would rather have you do is remember that the ticket price original is always going to be 100%. Then they increase the prices by 20%, so they add on 20%. Okay, so that means that the new price is going to be, the remaining percentage now is 120%. That's the total that's left. Okay, so you could say original price multiplied by 120% equals to the new price. So if you had to go calculate the new price, you would get 540 Rand. Okay, and as I said, you could work out 20% of 450 and then you would add that to the 450. It does work when they doing section 3. It does not work in section 4. So my advice, rather try use this technique, because this technique works in section 3 and section 4 and section 5. An item costs 40 Rand excluding VAT. Assuming that VAT is 15%, determine the cost with VAT. Okay, so that would be the original price. So remember that that would represent 100%, which is 40 Rand. Now, when you add on VAT, you make the percentage go up by 15%. So the new percentage is now going to be 115. So you could say original multiplied by percentage remaining. This is after the increase or decrease. I should have written that earlier. After increase or decrease equals to the new price. So the original price was 40 Rand. The percentage remaining after the increase or decrease is 115% now, because that's 115, and then that's equal to the new price. So if you had to calculate that, you end up with the new price as 46 Rand. Okay. Now we are getting, so if you did not use my technique in step 3 and you were just like, oh bro, I can easily just do this, I can just go 15% of 40 and then I just add it, that would have worked every single time. But now when we get to step 4, you're going to start running into some issues, because you're going to quickly see a percentage and you're just going to go use that percentage. And I even say, be careful here. So rather use my technique that I showed you. So the original price multiplied by the percentage remaining after the increase or decrease is equal to the new price. Okay, so an item is currently, now you got to be careful, an item is currently selling for 120 Rand during the 40% summer sale. Determine what the original price was before the sale. So now they're giving us the new price and they're giving us the percentage remaining, but we don't have the original price. Can you see the difference? Whereas in all of these previous questions, they gave you the percentage and the original, but they didn't give you the new price. Okay, that's the difference. You see? In step 3, we said find the new value if they give you the percentage and they give you the original. Now they're going to say find the original if they give you the percentage and the new price. That's the difference. So we don't know what the original is. Now the percentage, don't just use 40. You got to remember what Kevin told us is that the original is always 100%. So you can imagine that that was 100%. We don't know what the number was, but we know that that always represents 100%. Then they did a 40% off. So they took away 40%. They took away 40%. So what is the remaining percentage? 60%. That is why learners get confused. They immediately go use the 40%, just like they maybe tried to do over here and over here. And on these ones, it would have worked. But on these ones, it doesn't. And so rather stick to my formula. So the percentage remaining will be 60%. and then that's going to be equal to the new price of 120. Now, we've got to use a bit of mathematics now to get this part by itself. So remember, if you have A multiplied by, or let's say you've got, A multiplied by B equals to C, and if you need to get this one by itself, remember, you divide both sides by B, because what you do to the one side, you do to the other side. That cancels, and so you end up with A equals to C over B. So here we need to get this part by itself. So you're going to divide both sides by 60%. You must include the percentage sign. And that's going to give, so that's going to be original is then equal to, so here it cancels. And so you're going to say 120 over 60%, and that will give you 200 Rand. If you got an answer of 300, then you are using the technique in the wrong way, and you're doing what a lot of learners do when they first start doing these calculations, and you would then need to just go back to the beginning of this video, start again, listen carefully to everything I've been saying. We're still going to do more examples, by the way, but for those of you that got 300, I would rather say stop now, go to the beginning of this video, start again, and try to make sure you listen to everything that I've mentioned so far. Okay, because it's not bad for you to be doing that. It's a very common problem. So you just need to go back to the start of this video, listen carefully to what I say, and you'll realize the little mistake that you're making. Okay, but let's carry on. So an item cost 200 Rand with VAT. You see, that's the price with VAT. So that's after they've added the percentage. Okay, so that's the new price. Determine the price without VAT. So the without VAT price, that would be the original before they added on or took any percentages away. So we could say that it's the original multiplied by the percentage remaining after increase or decrease, and that's equal to the new price. Okay, so we don't know what the original price is. That's what we're calculating. Now, remember, the original price always represents 100%. Okay? 100% just means complete. So that it had its certain price. Then what they did is they would have added on VAT. Okay, so this is the original. And then they're going to add on VAT. So they're going to add 15% VAT. And so if you add on 15% VAT, you then have 115%. So that is the percentage that we have after they've done the increase or decrease, and that gave us the new price of 200. Then to calculate the original, you have to say 200 divided by 115%, and that'll be 2 decimal places, 173.91 Rand. A shop increased all prices by 10%. An Xbox game is now selling for 400 Rand. Determine the price before the increase. Okay, so we're going to use our formula and then multiplied by percentage remaining after increase or decrease, and that'll be equal to the new price. Okay, so we don't know what the original price is, but we know that the new price is 400. Okay, now remember the Xbox was originally at 100%. That's the original. Then it says that they increase all prices by 110%. So they add on 10%. So that means the remaining percentage now after the increases and decreases, well, in this case the increase is 110%. So we're going to say times by 110%, and that would be equal to 400. So if you had to work out the original, you're going to get 400 divided by 110%, and that'll be 363 Rand. This is just to 2 decimal places, 363.64. If you use the 10% in your own way, you'll see that the answer will be different. Okay, so you've got to make sure you understood what I've said in this lesson so far. So let's do one more of these, and then we're going to move on to section number 5, which is pretty easy: percentage increase and decrease. Okay. So, a shop decides to throw a 30% sale. The sale price of a soccer ball is 150. So that's the new price, right? Think about it. You have the original price. Then you throw a sale, and so that gives you the new price. Then they ask us here, determine what the price was before the increase. So that was the original. Okay? So our formula says original multiplied by percentage remaining after increase or decrease, will always be equal to the new price. Okay, now don't just use that 30% over here. You've got to be careful. So we know that the original soccer ball, we always show that as 100%. That's always the original. They then decide to throw a 30% sale, so that means they take away 30% of the price. And so they take that away. And so what is remaining? 70%. That is the number you would use. So you're going to say original multiplied by 70%, and that is going to be equal to 150 Rand, because that's the new price. So if you then had to get the original price, it would be 150 divided by 70, and that'll be 214.29 if we round to 2 decimal places. So now we're going to go look at percentage increase and decrease. Now, you can use that same formula that I've been showing you, which goes, the one I've been showing you. So original multiplied by percentage remaining after the increase or decrease equals to the new price. That also works for these. However, your teacher, and I don't blame this next part, because I use this formula with a lot of the students that I used to personally teach. I also like this formula. It goes like this: the new price minus the original price divided by the original price multiplied by 100. That is a nice formula. I like that one. So it's completely up to you. I'll tell you what. I'll show you how to use this formula and this formula for these next examples. I think we've got 1, 2, and 3 examples. Okay, so I'll show you how to use both. And yep, let's just see how it goes. I like the fact that this one works for all of them, but with this one, you're just going to have to do, you're just going to have to be careful. But I'll show you both. Okay, so they tell us that the price of petrol increases from 9 Rand to 9 Rand 72. So this is the original, and this would be the new. Okay, so determine the percentage increase or decrease. Now, let's start with this one. Okay, so the original price is 9 Rand. Then we don't know what the percentage is. So we don't know what the percentage is. And then the new price is 9 Rand 72. So if you had to work out the percentage, now be careful. When you get this percentage, that is not the final answer. You must remember that this is the percentage remaining. And so that's going to be 9 Rand 72 divided by 9. And so the percentage remaining is going to give you 1.08. Okay, but then I want you to multiply that by 100 to convert it into a percentage. So you're going to multiply that by 100, and that's going to give you 108%. Now remember, what I've always told you is that the original price is always 100%. Now they're telling us that the remaining percent is 108. So that means that they must have added on 8% to make it 108. So they must have done a 8% increase. Okay, now let's see how this formula would work. So the new price is 9 Rand 72. The original price is 9. Original price is 9 times 100, and that'll give you 8%. This one's probably a little bit easier, to be honest. So you must choose whichever one's best for you, but I'm going to, as I promised, I'll show you both. Okay. So a house was renting for 5,200 and is now renting for 4,732. So this was the original price. This is the new price. Determine the percentage increase or decrease. Okay, so the original price was 5,200. The percentage remaining, we're not sure what that is. And then the new price is 4,732. So to work out the percentage remaining after the increase and decrease is going to be 4,732 divided by 5,200. And then just remember to multiply with 100, just like we do here, to get it into a percentage. And so that'll be percentage remaining is 91%. That's not the answer. Remember that the original price is always 100%. But now it's gone to 91%. So that means that they must have taken away 9%. So that's the amount they decreased by. They did a 9% decrease. For this one, I should have said an 8% increase. 8% increase. Okay, now if we use this formula, this one's a little bit easier. So you just take the new price minus the original price divided by the original price times 100. Here you're going to get a negative answer. It'll give you -9. That just means 9% decrease. Let's do one more example. Here's our last example. A shirt is currently on sale for 176 Rand. It originally sells for 220. Okay, so that's the original price, and then this is the new price. So we can just say 220 multiplied by the percentage remaining is equal to 176. So then if we get the percentage remaining, we get 176 over 220. And then always remember to multiply that by 100. And that'll be, whenever I say that'll be, I don't know if you guys have watched Shrek. You know, Shrek, there's a part in one of the Shrek movies, I don't know if it's the first one or second one, but there's a part where Shrek says to the donkey, that'll do, donkey. But now, I don't know why, like I haven't watched that movie, like I think I watched it when I was in grade 1, when it first came out, Shrek 1, I remember, grade 1. Whenever I say that'll be, I feel like I'm Shrek talking to Donkey. So yeah, random story for the day. Wow, that was really random, wasn't it? Anyways, so moving on. So that will be 80%. But that's not the answer. What you need to understand is that the original price is always 100%. Now the remaining, or the new one, is after the increase is 80%. So how do you go from there to there? Well, they must have taken away 20%. So they did a 20% decrease. So let's put the percentage. Now, I still think this is probably a better formula. It's just more formulas to remember, but I still think this is nice. So the new price, 176, the original price, 220, 220 times 100, and that'll be -20, which just means 20% decrease.